everyone, especially for the families. We hope and pray this difficult search will be resolved and bring closure to those whose relatives were on board.
For over 10 years, I've been a huge fan of Blue Moon's fine greasy, deep penetrating cream. My wife and I love it. And for hard to reach places, I use Blue Moon pain relief spray.
It's only free and it suits all my muscle aches and pain.
Blue Moon, it works fast and you won't
Crime files, reckless city, backyard inflation. Enter homeowner and Ortho Weed Begone Max. Kills weeds without harming innocent lawns. Guaranteed. Ortho Weed Begone Max. Get Ortho. Get Ortho.
When the open road calls, sometimes you just have to answer. Hi, I'm William Devane, and I wouldn't feel free to just pick up and go if I didn't feel secure about my financial future, which is why you should have a gold IRA from Roslyn Capital. With all the financial madness in the world that weakens the value of your dollar, the gold IRA from Roslyn Capital will give you the same confidence and freedom as if the gold were sitting right here in your hand. And Roslyn makes it really easy to take your existing IRA and roll it into a gold-backed IRA. So wherever you're headed, the IRA rollover is just another way Roslyn can help you protect your assets and your independence. What's in your savings?
Call now for a free gold kit and a free IRA transfer kit with ways to transfer or roll over your existing IRA. Call 800-370-8200, 800-370-8200, 800-370-8200.
Ask me what it's like to get a best night's sleep.
You're not talking to someone who's sleeping on the most highly recommended bed in America.
Ask me how fast I fall asleep.
Ask me about staying asleep.
Tempur-Pedic owners are more satisfied than owners of any traditional mattress brand. Tempur-Pedic, the most highly recommended bed in America. Now sleep cooling with extra cooling.
Up in the air. We use them for everything, for getting all, I can Google map your house and I can see your driveway. So why are we having such a hard time identifying this debris? Is it the location in that part of the world?
Well, I think my own personal opinion on that is that the resolution of the photos we've been receiving has been purposely, blurred. I mean, you look at the photos that came from China a few weeks ago that turned out to be nothing, and I'm having a hard time believing the Chinese couldn't have come up with something a little more clear. But then again, not being a satellite technology geek, I'm not absolutely positive on that.
No,
But again, I think
you
it
spend
should
your
be a
whole
little
career in
easier.
the sky. You have a gut about what may have happened. We've talked about a number of different scenarios together, and I really appreciate your insight. And it's interesting because Michelle Obama is making a trip to China at a time that we need them to cooperate and give us all the information that they have. I just think people are having a very hard time grasping why we're not getting answers to this more quickly. And the question that I have is about what we can do to change things in the future, lessons learned in this. I never knew until discussions with you and others that passenger oxygen only lasts 15 minutes, that a pilot could literally flip the switch and turn off different mechanical equipment in a plane that allows it to fly stealth. And also, in terms of getting information about cargo and manifests, that it could be this troublesome to track down a cause for plane disappearance. Is anything going to change on our shores?
I think there are certainly some things that must change. I think, for one, we're going to see some technology changes. There are new systems that are coming online. The Iridium satellite system, there are people who do sat phones that we see in the movies all the time. They have a deal with NAV Canada that's certainly going to put new ADSB, it's our new technology system for airplanes that will allow us to know where an airplane is anywhere on the face of the globe. If that doesn't start for a couple of years yet. But I also think that the International Civil Aviation Organization in Montreal is the UN's function for aviation in the world is going to have to start looking at how we all work together better than we have, because it shouldn't take this long.
And we can't with Malaysia because we don't have any flights between the countries. We can't control even the checking of those passports initially. Let me ask you this other question that I actually didn't know until this disaster and this situation. that voice data recorders are 2 hours long, and they re-record over themselves after that 2 hours. Who decided that was long enough?
Well, that's a very interesting question. For what it's worth, years ago it used to be only 30 minutes. And I don't honestly know who certified it that way, but the reason they did it was that the majority of accidents tend to happen during landing and during takeoff. And they just assumed that that was going to be the really important information to know about what was going on in the cockpit.
So let me ask you this last question. If in fact these pilots continued to fly this plane after good nighting and already changing course, could they have been trying to outsmart the equipment? And would the FAA or any other airline authority let that happen again? Hey, just buy 2 voice recorders. When one ends, let the other one start.
Well, that's a very interesting question. And going to consider
whether or not Flight 370 lost cabin pressure, whether you know that has caused deadly airliner crashes before. This is the FAA happens to warn airlines at the same time about possible decompression from fuselage cracks on some Boeing 777s. Coming up next, we'll take a look at what happens to passengers if you're on a plane and the oxygen suddenly goes out.
From your tablet, smartphone, or computer. You'll never miss a big game or season finale again. Because wherever you are, it's time to watch Eaglecrest.
If you've ever considered getting a walk-in tub, we have great news.
No more cold seats. For a limited time, when you purchase a Safe Step walk-in tub, we'll upgrade your order to include our newest feature, a heated seat.
That's a $600 value. Free.
But that's not all. The new and improved dual hydrotherapy system now has foot massaging jets to help soothe aching feet.
There are 10 water jets total.
And 16 bubble streams that can help increase mobility, relieve pain, boost energy, and improve sleep.
And as always, Safe Step walk-in tubs are built to maximize safety, so you can stay in your home and enjoy the comforts of baby living.
Call the number on your screen now for more information and a free, no-obligation consultation.
Our new walk-in tub is affordable and could change your life.
Visible and comfortable. Call 1-800 today.
Oh, one possibility being looked at in the fate of the simulation airliner is either rapid or slow decompression in the airplane. What actually happens to your body if your plane loses cabin pressure? It has caused fatal crashes before. Joining us now from the box, Medical 18 is Dr. David Samadi, Chair of Urology at Lenox-Hill Hospital in New York. Dr. Samadi, always good to see you.
Good to see you.
It's so ironic. The FAA issued this directive. This is for Boeing 777s. Issued just a couple of weeks ago. How cracks in the fuselage could apparently cause a slow decompression. They found it by an antenna on at least one plane. What happens if there is a decompression and you're flying on your own?
You've seen a lot of flight attendants that will tell you that in case the plane is going to really go in a high altitude or a low altitude, your oxygen mask will drop. Before any kind of flight, you've seen they talk about the seatbelts and the oxygen mask that comes in. There's something called decompression sickness, meaning that if the plane somehow, as a result of the crack in the plane, the air can get in, and the pilot has to either bring it down to a lower altitude or really go up. And when that happens, you may get something called decompression sickness. So what exactly is it? You know, in our body, in our blood, in our muscles, we have a lot of gases like nitrogen gas, and we have other carbon oxygens, etc. As a result of the pressure change, this gas can come to the surface, and it can go into our spinal cord. It can go into our brain, something called like air embolus kind of
Do
a
you know if this is happening when it happens, or you just kind of go to sleep?
Listen, that's probably the most stressful part of flying. Your part, the experience that I have with TrueCar. You don't want to be intimidated. It's extremely simple.
Save time, save money, and never overpay. Visit TrueCar.com.
I'm Nikki, and I'm a kindergarten teacher who likes ice cream. I feel like I spend so much time focusing on my job. It's time to start focusing on myself.
Match.com. More dates, relationships, and marriages than any other site. Start for free today.
And we're starting now with the Fox News and World News. New developments in the search for Malaysian Airlines Flight 370. As we have been reporting, the Chinese satellite picked up a large piece of something, floating debris, in a very remote stretch of the southern Indian Ocean. Could that be part of the wreckage of the ill-fated flight, or is it just more ocean junk? Hello, everyone. I'm Eric Sean, and welcome to a brand new hour of America's News.
I'm Jamie Colby. Eric, they say this is the most difficult part of the world to search within these deep waters. That debris that was spotted was also seen by Australian authorities, who reported seeing something very similar just 2 days ago. Several countries are now sending planes and ships there to try to figure out what is it. Now, this latest development comes more than 2 weeks since the Boeing 777 disappeared. There were more than 230 passengers, as you know, on board. Doug McElway is tracking all the developments during double duty today. Doug, live in Washington. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Jamie. Hopes that the debris from this missing airliner may have been found have now been rekindled by that satellite image released by the Chinese government. The image lies about 75 miles west of the location from earlier satellite images released by the Australian government. State-run Chinese media says this measures 72 feet by 43 feet. The release of that image follows the publication by the Daily Telegraph of a purported transcript of cockpit communications with air traffic controllers. The transcript indicates no abnormalities nor emergencies in the cockpit. It ends with the words, "All right, good night," just before communications were handed over from Malaysian controllers to Vietnamese controllers.
Right after that handoff was supposed to have occurred, the transponders were turned off, the plane went dark, and it diverted. So that right there is circumstantial evidence that human involvement caused this aircraft to deviate off course.
Because of the lack of hard evidence, though, of the plane's whereabouts, there is still speculation that the search in the vast South Indian Ocean may be misdirected, that the plane may have been hijacked and perhaps landed at some remote airfield in more of a northwesterly route, perhaps in coordination with the government or some terrorist entity. The remoteness of the South Indian Ocean search area means that search planes have relatively little time on site before having to return to Australia for refueling. And a cyclone is now bearing down on the search area. And because of strong currents and winds, the debris spotted by the Chinese satellite could have already floated 300 miles since the image was snapped on Tuesday. A tough situation, Jamie.
Getting more difficult by the hour, Doug. Thank you very much. Good to see you. Eric, Mark.
Jamie, for more on what the satellite image could reveal about what happened at Flight 370, let's now
Maybe a
turn to
horrible
DJ
Goose
Fox,
fight.
National Commercial Airlines pilot.
Again.
The satellite
That one came back in her nest
Tuesday,
again. Look what she's doing to
4 days
her.
ago, and it's basically the same size as the Australian satellite.
Where are you going?
Could it be the same piece? I don't
What?
know eventually what it could do.
Well, it's very encouraging, Eric, there's no question about it. And of course, I hope it does lead to some closure for the families, especially the families who are really suffering through all of this.
Oh, absolutely. For you as a pilot, what's the most major clue of that? Left turn, unexplained, what do you think?
Well, I'm still want to know more about what was in the cargo hold. If it was lithium batteries, which it's a little nugget was thrown out recently that there were lithium batteries, and the Malaysian government is claiming that they were in a protective cover. However, I'm still not completely sold on that, because you can ask my UPS brothers and sisters about what lithium batteries can do to an aircraft with that 747 that had crashed in Dubai several years ago, and they're very flammable, very noxious. If something like that erupted within the cargo hold, it could have been a catastrophic situation that happened very quickly.
Yeah, that was one of the newest and the last 747-400s that was built, so we know the airplane's in basically in perfect shape. It happened on September 3rd, 2010. They're just flying along, and there's smoke in the cabin. They think it was, lithium batteries that just suddenly erupted, exploded, and caused all this fire in the cargo hold. That was a cargo 747 freight.
Yes, Eric, it was a cargo 747, and they were operating out of Dubai that day. Now, those lithium batteries have been proven to be unstable and highly flammable and highly noxious. So, if a situation occurred then that a flame, a hole full of fire came into within the avionics compartment, if it spread forward, that could possibly explain then the timeline of the transponder shutting off, the ACARS shutting off, possibly then the pilots turning back, because we're taught from day one is aviate, navigate, and then communicate. I know a lot of people are questioning, well, why didn't they get a Mayday distress signal out in time? they might not have had time, unfortunately, and that's what's really concerning me at this point, that more focus is not being put in that direction.
And what about the possibility of decompression that's happened before? You know, the FAA issued the following air directive just a couple of weeks ago. It's supposed to take effect in April. And let me read it to you. This AD for air directive was prompted by a report of cracking in the fuselage skin underneath the satellite communications SATCOM antenna adapter. This AD requires repetitive inspections of the visible fuselage to detect and correct cracking and corrosion in the fuselage skin, which could lead to rapid decompression and loss of structural integrity of the airplane. Now, we don't know at all if this had that equipment or if indeed this plane was inspected. What are the possibilities of that happening? They have a problem, they start to turn backward, and they can't make it.
Well, the only thing I have with that is I believe most airplanes have that big round antenna on the top of the fuselage. That doesn't then explain then the transponder turning off, the ACARS stuff and transmitting signals. If there's a rapid decompression, we would hear a horn, we would get a warning in the cockpit. Immediately, we put on oxygen masks. There's no hesitation there. That's an immediate memory item on every emergency checklist that has to do with a rapid decompression.
And you push the stick down, and you go down to lower altitude, and this flight apparently they didn't do that.
Well, without the black boxes, we don't have the radar coverage of as far as the altitudes properly. Of course, that other information, I think, was invalid, and we don't know without the black box.
The water, and that means a little less than 2 more weeks remain before it goes silent. Once it dies, recovery efforts and the investigation into how the plane may have come down, even if they find it, could be more difficult. It took 2 years, though, to find the black box from the wreckage of the Air France flight that crashed in the Atlantic in 2009. And the ocean depth in the search area for this flight, Flight 370, is believed to be more than 2 miles down in some spots. Very challenging recovery.
After doing recovery efforts on that search effort that involves some of the world's most advanced and sophisticated aircraft. Just take a look at some of the planes that have been deployed in the search right now. The Lockheed P-3 Orion, you may know that. It's called the workhorse of the search effort because it can fly at very low altitudes for a long period of time. Then, of course, we've heard a lot about the U.S. Navy's P-8 Poseidon, which is a kind of a redesigned 737. That plane is used for anti-submarine warfare. You detect the huge metal objects, obviously, deep in the ocean waters. And of course, the smaller than Body Global Express, it's usually an executive aircraft, but when reconfigured from a civilian jet, it's packed with the state-of-the-art emergency gear for these type of missions. And of course, the C-130 Hercules military transport plane. C-130 is a very popular aircraft in our fleet. It's being used to drop those buoys that they hope searchers can track, and the degree that it's moving on continued pings that may be indicated in the black boxes.
An update now, and this Fox News alert as we turn our attention to Ukraine, where there are reports of shots fired at a Ukrainian Air Force base in Crimea after Russian forces stormed that outpost. All of this on the heels of Russian President Vladimir Putin signing a law that formalized Russia's takeover of Crimea from Ukraine, something the West still calls illegitimate. Does it matter what we call it? Greg Calcott's following the breaking developments from Kiev, Ukraine. Hi, Greg.
Yeah, it's been a hectic and a violent day in Crimea. The takeover by Russia of the peninsula in its final phase. Now, the Ukrainian Defense Ministry has confirmed to Fox News that perhaps the most important base the Ukrainian forces had there is now seized by Russian special forces. The commander of the Belbek base perhaps has been the most defiant of any of the Ukrainian officers through this crisis. We are told 4 Russian armored vehicles smashed through the front gate of that base, and then shots and stun grenades were fired. It is confirmed to us that 2 officers of the Ukrainian military injured, and that brave Ukrainian commander, well, he is detained by Russian forces right now. Earlier, more activity around the peninsula. Ukraine's only submarine in Crimea seized by Russian forces. Another base stormed by pro-Russian militia. Now, since President Putin announced the annexation of Crimea, a move not recognized by Ukraine, or the U.S., or the West, nearly all Ukrainian military officials have been evacuated. Officials here in Kiev say they're working on some kind of evacuation plan for family and troops. Meanwhile, in the eastern Ukrainian city of Donetsk, we saw today a pro-Russian rally of some 5,000 people. This, as officials here confirmed to us, they are watching very closely. The Russian troop buildup and activity on the other side of the border. There's said to be something like 20,000 Russian troops with full battlefield active there. Now, Russia says these are just exercises. They have no plans to invade. The White House and the Pentagon the last 2 days are saying that perhaps is not credible. Finally, here in Kiev, diplomacy continues. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon was here for another day, meeting with leaders of the interim government. Canada's Prime Minister became the first G7 leader to come here since the protest, and we saw some 100 military observers set to arrive here from the OSCE organization. Their task will be to try to keep an eye on all sorts of activities all across this country. A big job indeed. Back to you, Jim.
Greg Palcott for us live in Kiev, and we'll check back with you for more updates. Thank you, Greg.
And we'll have a fair and balanced debate about how the administration is handling the Ukraine crisis. Our political panel will weigh in later on about that.
Also, the unemployment debate is taking center stage in this year's midterm elections. That's right. What kind of impact will it have, the policies that are coming out of Capitol Hill to try to boost the economy? Are they working better than others? We're going to have a fair and balanced look at that.
And coming up, we'll take an in-depth look at what about advanced technology that investigators are right now trying to use to locate missing Flight 370.
The United States is offering as many resources as possible to assist in the search. And please know that we are keeping all of the families and loved ones of those on this flight in our thoughts and our prayers at this very difficult time.
Hat maker Vincent Brimble prospered in the town of Haddington. Never flashy, he only made a classic bowling. Then suddenly the day's trend became preposterously tall. His Raymond James financial advisor reminded him that focusing on the long term is always fashionable. The fad was indeed a passing one. His patience paid off, allowing him to one day hang up his hat with confidence. Life well planned. See what a Raymond James advisor can do for you.
When I first felt the diabetic nerve pain, of course I had no idea what it was. I felt like my feet were going to sleep. It progressed from there to burning to like 1,000 bees that were just stinging my feet.
It's known that diabetes damages nerves. Lyrica is FDA approved to treat diabetic nerve pain. Lyrica is not for everyone. It may cause serious allergic reactions or suicidal thoughts or actions. Tell your doctor right away if you have these, new or worsening depression, or unusual changes in mood or behavior, or swelling, trouble breathing, rash, hives, blisters, changes in eyesight including blurry vision, muscle pain or fever, tired feeling, or skin sores from diabetes. Common side effects are dizziness, sleepiness, weight gain, and swelling of hands, legs, and feet. Don't drink alcohol while taking Lyrica. Don't drive or use machinery until you know how Lyrica affects you. Those who've had a drug or alcohol problem may be more likely to misuse Lyrica.
Having less pain it's a wonderful feeling.
Ask your doctor about Lyrica today. It's specific treatment for diabetic nerve pain.
Your paycheck, your family depends on it. But if something happened to you, you need life insurance. Chances are SelectQuote can get it for you for under $1 a day. SelectQuote found Alan, 38, a $500,000 policy for under $19 a month. Phil, 41, smokes an occasional cigar. Still, SelectQuote got him a $500,000 policy for under $23. SelectQuote found Kenesha, 39, a $350,000 policy for under $14 a month. SelectQuote's secret? They impartially shop a select group of highly rated companies like these for your best rates. Give your family the security it needs at a price you can afford. Call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.